Hi and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be looking at how to add a start button to our scene and make it respond to our mouse click. In particular we want to have the button change color when we hover over it with the mouse, and we want to have the button change color whenever it's clicked. So we're going to use a text element as a button to do that. So let's get started. So I'll jump straight into Unity, and here we have our scene. Right now it's missing two buttons, a start and a quit button, so that's what we're going to add now. To do that, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of those text elements. These text elements are not really named very well, so I'm just going to rename them to know what they are. I'm going to call this one title and the one underneath subtitle. Don't forget to press return. If you don't press return, this change won't take effect. And finally, I'm going to add a new UI object text from my game object menu, and you'll see the text come up. I'm going to drag it underneath, and I'm going to rename this one start button. So I've got this start button here. I'm going to change the text to start, as you'd expect. Change the color to white by default. And I'm going to also make it a little bit bigger and center it. So centering it first and then make the font size a bit bigger. How's that? That looks good. It's now positioned and we have what will become our button. So right now it's just text. So how do I turn it into a button? Well, I can click Add Component, and if I look at my component hierarchy, I can go to UI, and then there will be a button component. So I can click the button component, and here we have a interactable button attached to, that's not attached to the right thing, that's attached to our canvas. Look, we've got this canvas selected, and I've added a button script to it. Not quite what I wanted to do, so let me remove that component and select the right thing, which is my start button, which I've misspelled. It's not start, it's just start button. I think that's a much better name for it. So now I want to add a component to my start button. So UI button to my start button. And now everything in there it'll automatically find the right target graphic, it'll find the buttons, and we've got a bunch of stuff, and then it'll have this box at the bottom, this on click box, which will let it carry out actions whenever it's clicked. Now if I press play, if I move my mouse over this button, absolutely nothing happens. Can you see that? Nothing at all happens. We want to change that. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to use the transition attribute of our button script, and we're going to select the color tint. So now there's three options, or four. None, which means nothing happens. Color tint, which means you change the color overlay slightly, and then sprite swap, which means you change the actual sprite underlying the button, and finally animation, which lets you play an animation whenever one of those state is triggered. We're going to use color tint because it's very simple. Normal color is going to remain white. Highlighted color, I'm going to give it a nice bright green to make it very clear that we've highlighted it. And then press color, I'm going to choose a deep orange. In fact, I'm going to go more towards the red than usual, because remember this is a tint, so it's on top of the existing color rather than as a replacement. So now if I press play and go into my game, I hover over it and it goes green, I click it and it goes orange. And that's the kind of behavior I'm looking for. Now, it is somewhat buggy sometimes depending on which version of Unity you are in, and sometimes when you click, you'll see here that the hover color remains. This is a known bug with Unity. Don't worry too much. It doesn't affect too many versions, but that is something to keep in mind, and there are workarounds if you need them. But for now, that's sufficiently good for us. We have a start button, and now it is your turn. This is what I want you to do now. I want you to add a quit button. Same as the start button, but instead of having a start button called start button, I want a quit button called quit button that has the same kind of behavior as my start button. I'll see you very soon when you've sorted that out. So I'm going to cheat a little bit to add my quit button. I'm going to go back into my Unity, and instead of actually creating a quit button, I'm going to duplicate my start button. My shortcut for duplicating on a Mac is Command D. I'm not quite sure what it is on Windows, but you can also, I believe, use the menu and use duplicate when you have it on the right click for your menu. Now I've got two start buttons. I don't want that. Let me bring the second one down. Let me rename it to quit button. And I've got a quit button now. Don't forget you need to press return once you have renamed your entity. And I'm going to change this to quit. And now if I go back to my page and I play the game, we now have two buttons that respond to mouse hover, respond to clicks, and change their colors. And that is it for this video. We have now created buttons. We know how to create menu, or at least text buttons, and we'll be looking at other types of button in future videos. But for now, that is sufficiently good for us to create our Number Wizard UI game. So I'll see you in the next video.